Hey guys, what's up? It's me, or Kitty. Okay, so today I'm kind of doing a throwback game this time called Detective Grimoire. So, for those of you who have never heard of this game, here's a little bit of backstory on it. So, this game was originally done, obviously, in 2007, as you can see. It was done by a user, the Super Flash Bros. This is a Flash game originally, and it was originally put on Armor Games website. Obviously, Flash is dying, and at the end of this year, Flash will be basically dead. For the browsers, at least. Flash has had a bunch of security issues, so a lot of people have been able to get in, put in viruses, basically just bypass things that probably shouldn't be bypassed and ruin people's lives with it. Well, an exaggeration. But NewGrounds has released a player for their website and all of their games, so that's how I'm actually able to still play this without even having to use a browser. So I will say thank you, NewGrounds, for making that. I can hopefully enjoy all those old Flash games I like, and I can premiere them for everybody else. But today I wanted to bring back this game, Detective Grimoire. This was actually probably one of the first Flash games that I had ever played, and it was a great game simply for the fact of it wasn't just one of those gimmicky oh, here's a 5-minute adventure. It's no, it was an actual game with a lot of plot, a lot of story development. And you really just fell in love with this character, I guess. It did so well that actually it made another game that you can find on Steam right now, also called Detective Grimoire. And they recently, and I just found this out today, recently just released another game at the end of last year. It's on my wishlist right now. When I get a little bit more money, I'll be sure to buy it, and I'll be premiering that as well. So I'm super excited. So let's just get into the game. So excited, guys. You don't know how excited. Alright. PD file 054. Victim Hugh Everton. Crime, murder. Just need to turn it down a little bit in my headphones. At 10:28 last night, a body was found at the local fairground that operates just outside of town. The cleaner, one Jerry Spears, discovered the dead body of his former colleague inside the Hall of Mirrors. All the evidence points towards murder. The clown, Charles Ringer, who works at the very same fairground, is the main suspect. He seems to have some less than favorable links with the victim. If this grim case remains unsolved, the fairground manager, Mr. Ray Coyles, has stated he will have to permanently shut down operations. I didn't even really notice that when I was playing it, obviously the very first time. It's still kind of loud. Wow. I have this on 2 decibels, I guess, is what Windows basically measures as. It's still kind of loud. But I didn't realize that Coyles was also the name of the people that produced the game at the front title screen. Yeah. This was years ago that I played this. I think I was in high school when this came out. Private Detective Grimoire has been called in to clear things up. We've got one evening to find the truth about what happened last night. If Grimoire can't solve this case, no one can. Officer James. I'm not gonna repeat myself again, Grimoire. You're listening this time, right? Something pretty nasty happened here last night. I know, I heard. It was murder. I'd say everyone in that fairground is a suspect, and you've only got this one evening to do your thing. My thing? Don't tell me you're getting nervous now. The other guys tell me you're the best at this. You're not gonna let me down, are you? No? But last I checked, detective was a pay grade above beat cop? Not to hurt anybody's feelings. It is, though. So I think it's more like, Officer James, don't let me down. It's your job to talk to the suspects and explore the fairground for clues. You'll obviously need to take a look at the crime scene. That sounded like a pretty maniacal laugh. But don't overlook any details, understand? Right. I think I understand. I have a bad feeling about this place I can't shake. Everyone is a suspect. Everyone is a suspect. It's your job to find out who has a credible alibi and who is lying to you. I think I can rightfully assume that everyone's lying to me until I have proven that they are not lying to me with evidence. Granted, I guess it's the other way around in court. You should be able to work out who the murderer is by proving everyone else innocent. If you're confused about what to do, don't hesitate to ask me. I think that was supposed to be more like a friendly gesture, like, yeah, don't be afraid to ask me or anything like that, but that just sounded really evil. Alternatively, the tutorial information is available from your notes page, where you can also save your game. Thank you. Grimoire, I'm ready. Help. What's with the mustache? That's neither here nor there. Tell me about it. That thing is here, there, everywhere. Oh god, don't we have to go through all this again? If I say help. Okay, that just gives me stuff that I don't need, so... Oh god, okay. So even though this is kind of dated, for the time, I guess this was impressive, at least to me. I feel like at the time, like a lot of Flash games, especially the point-and-click genres, felt a little bit more static. And on top of that, you didn't really have a lot of NPCs, especially this animated, I guess. Like, this felt like a real desktop game. Let's see, I have... Okay. There aren't any clues in the car park. I have to try a little harder than that. Motorcycle? Okay. Go to the fairground entrance. There's someone there. Wait, what? Hi! What on earth? Where are your parents? This is the scene of a crime. I know. That's why I'm gonna help you out, detective. Why did you say it like that? I'm a real detective. In that case, here's your hat. Or where's your hat? I'm sorry. If I had a nickel, detectives don't have to wear hats anymore. Plus, it messes up my hair. I believe you. Anyway, hat or not, you're still gonna need this. A map? Of the fairground. Hey, thanks. See you later. I have no idea who that was, but I'm pretty sure she's not the murderer. I sure hope not, anyway. I don't know if this is necessarily spoiling it, but so that little girl shows up again in the next game. And I still have no idea what her purpose is. Like, the actual greater purpose of this little girl. 2 games in and I still have no idea why exactly she was there, like what her purpose is. I mean, other than give me maps and give me hints and stuff like that, but you know. There's no greater purpose, like, why is she there? This place is pretty run down, but I can't see any clues yet. Okay. Clues. Just make sure profiles. Map. And notes. Yeah, and this was the thing that I loved as well, is like these animations, they're just so flawless. There's someone here too. I'd better get this investigation underway. Hey, you over there. Who on earth are you? I'm Detective Grimoire. I'm here to solve the mystery of last night's murder. Right, I see it now. The trench coat and everything. Aren't you supposed to wear a hat too? That's besides the point. Hugh Everton was murdered last night, and you, Charles Ringer, you're a suspect. The main suspect, in fact. Oh, because I'm a clown? Who made that wonderful leap of logic. Look, I know Hugh and I never got on, but I can tell you one thing. I'm not capable of murder or anything close. Look at me. Is this the face of a killer? Absolutely. I actually don't remember who the murderer is in this game. I'm sure it'll come back to me like as we keep playing, but I'm just like... People have a fear of clowns simply because they think they're killers, so I guess that's the face of a killer. I'm gonna have to get a little more information out of him, I think. Alright, let's see. Let's talk to Charles again. Got introductions last night. If you're not the killer, what were you doing last night? I was here, of course. You know, being a clown and all that. I left quite late last night, actually. I had a few holdups in the evening, but I didn't see anything suspicious. What was the last thing you saw before you left? Let's see. On my way out, I walked past the Hall of Mirrors and noticed that the door was slightly open. I closed it and carried on through the fairground. The only strange thing about the whole episode was how quiet the Hall of Mirrors door was. It normally lets out a loud creak when you move it. I think that's part of the attraction, you know? Or it just doesn't have any maintenance done on it. Which, looking at this whole fairground, kinda seems to be the case. The Hall of Mirrors. That's the crime scene. I wonder why the door didn't creak that evening. And why would it be open? The funhouse. There's a small opening here. I might be able to get in this way, but I'm not sure. I'll come back later. Okay. The door is jammed. I can't get in this way. What a pain. Yeah, that is pretty painful. Okay. Oops, game. Nothing else there. Oops. Excuse me, miss? Do you work here? Just with that, like, high-pitched, like, crazy, like, ha! I'm pretty sure I do. The name's Mandy. Mandy Fair. I'm in charge of running this game stall. I don't know. This is... I assume that she has some kind of, like, high-pitched teenage girl voice. You seem a bit young to be working in a place like this, don't you think? I think they meant to say seem. You seem a bit young to be a private detective. Oh, are detectives only allowed to wear a hat when they reach a certain age? I'm older than I look, I'll have you know. Anyway, could you tell me a little about yourself? Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen someone be upset about being considered young. I'm conducting an investigation to find out about last night's murder. Of course you are. Why else would you show up? Unless you're after some candy floss. Did you know it's actually bad for you? My powers of deduction do stretch that far, thanks. I'm not sure what to tell you. I've worked here for a little while. I got a job through my uncle. This job is helping me pay for college, but it's a lot of fun too. I get to hand out toys to kids. Who doesn't want that? I wonder if her uncle is here at the fairground. Oh shoot. Well, I'll go back. I forgot to ask Charles the last thing. So last night, could you tell me what you were doing last night? How could I forget, really? I was here late, like I normally am, just kicking about. Eventually I heard shouting, or shouts, coming from the Hall of Mirrors. And then Jerry, oh, that's the cleaner. He comes running over to me and starts telling me what's happened. I helped him call the police. After they showed up, we were allowed to go home. I'm doing surprisingly well with this accent or voice. So, you were one of the last people here last night? It seems that way. But I was here at my stall the whole time. I had things to do, you know? I wonder why Mandy stays late every night. I think I should have a look around before I press her about it. Let's see, fairground? Do you get on with the other staff here at the fairground? Oh yeah, the guys often argue amongst themselves, but I stay out of it. Charles the clown is a pretty hard guy to get on with, but he's got a good heart. I can't say I had a particular dislike for anyone, except, well, Jerry does get on my nerves, but he's sweet, I guess. I got on well with Hugh, although no one could deny he was pretty useless at his job. The funhouse was always in a terrible state. Sometimes I'd try to help Hugh with repairs or ideas for improvements, but he'd never get anything done. I always figured the boss would replace him, but now look what's happened. Well, he's gonna get replaced, alright. Sounds like Mandy has an interest in the funhouse. Okay, so there's nothing there. Let's see, can I grab it? I can't be certain, but I don't think it's possible to win the ring toss game. I'm not gonna try my luck anyhow. Get 5 points in 3 turns to win. Like F1 for 3 hoops. I wonder why there are so many books. I'll try asking Mandy about them, I suppose. Toys. These toys look really cheap. Maybe I should ask Mandy about them. Toys. That. Okay. Talk to Mandy. The toys. I don't want to sound rude, but these toys look really cheap. I've never seen those characters anywhere before. What? You've never heard of Turquoise Bunny and his friends, Ruby Rabbit? Sorry, friend. Singular, friend. Only one friend. Very lonely. What about everyone's favorite? The King of Scare Felix. Or Jimmy the Striped Horse. He's quite a new one, actually. So let's go back to the funhouse real quick. Charles, fairground. So you work as a clown at this fairground? How long have you been here? A long time. Too long, in fact. I don't really like the way things are going around here. I have no idea why I haven't left for good. You remind me of Squidward. I was appalled when the boss hired Hugh Everton to look after the funhouse. It is Squidward. Hugh Everton was just SpongeBob. Not only was he useless at his job, he was nearly completely deaf with old age. He's just not practical. Still, no one deserves... well, you know. He was deaf with old age. And not very good at his job. This could be important information. Do you get on with the rest of the staff? That'd be a bit of an exaggeration, I'm afraid. I don't mind Mandy and her uncle, but that Ricky, I'm a top-notch entertainer, horror character is just too much. He doesn't even like kids. What a joke. He doesn't take any pride in his work. Looks like Charles finds it hard to get on with Ricky War. He's the entertainer, I think. Also, who's Charles to talk about pride with that big hole in his costume? Maybe I should ask him about that. Oh yeah, right there. Ripped clothes? If you don't mind me asking, why is there a big hole in your trousers? Surely you'd want to be a little neater than that, even if you are a clown. To be honest, I'd rather we didn't talk about the unfortunate condition of my frilly clown slacks. That's the first time anyone has ever said that, I bet. Still, there must be more to the story of his ripped clothing. Maybe I can find a clue that will get him to elaborate. Oh god, she's back! It's you again! You need to find your parents and go home, I'm afraid. I can't go just yet. You still need my help. I'm quite capable of carrying out this investigation without you, thanks. Although that map is really useful. Really? Have you managed to get into the funhouse yet? There's a small opening to the left of the main door. You can go through there. It'll lead you into the small office where he used to work. Thanks. I guess how do... She's gone. What a weird kid. I guess I'll try getting through that opening after I've checked out the scene of the crime. What is this? Big space. There's a considerable space behind that table. Looks like there's no one there at the moment. What's this green marker pen doing here? I can't help feeling it's out of place. Maybe? This place is a mess. There's no one here minding the stall. Okay. A clown's red nose? I wonder what it's doing on the ground. Some oil has been spilt right by the door to the Hall of Mirrors. So basically it was oiled up. That's why it didn't creak. This place has officially given me the creeps. Window. I can clearly see the Hall of Mirrors light shining through the single window. Talk to Ricky. Hey there, kiddo. What's your name? It's Grimoire. Detective Grimoire. And I'm no kid. Thank you very much. It sounds like someone needs some candy floss. Did you lose your hat? Oh. the ongoing running joke in this game. I do not need any candy floss, and I did not lose my hat. Now, if you don't mind, I need to ask you about last night's murder. Hey, man, no need to shout. That I did not expect. Can that guy really be a kid's entertainer? Yeah, so I'm the entertainer here. I entertain kids and stuff. That's great. Ricky War, is it? That's it. What do you want then? Well, I'm not very entertained, that's for sure. I mean, I kinda am. It was funny. Alright, so right then. I need to know everything you saw last night in as much detail as you can manage, please. Yeah. I was here all evening, nothing happened. You have to remember something. Think. I hope he does, or I'll be a little stuck. Well, I guess there was the one thing. Excellent. Please, go on. I went home pretty late. On my way past here, I saw Hugh. Outside the Hall of Mirrors, Hugh? Yeah, he was heading inside actually, mumbling something about leaving the lights on. The light? Was it on last night? Yeah, I don't know why though. Maybe that's why Hugh was going in, to switch it off. Did you notice anything else? I didn't see anything. Not even... well, see that oil by the door to the Hall of Mirrors? That wasn't there when Hugh went in last night. I see. Well, that's very helpful. Thanks, Ricky. Wait, there's one more thing. As I was walking away, I heard a sound, squeaking. I heard a loud squeaking noise. I guess it was probably the Hall of Mirrors door. Wow. You turned out to be helpful after all. What? I mean, thanks again. So Hugh went into the Hall of Mirrors to turn off the light. The oil wasn't on the ground when he went in. And the door let out a screech when he opened it. What does it all mean? It means that he went in first, and then the guy who murdered him came in with an oil can, went squirt, 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 and then went murder, murder. Yeah. Pete. Why, hello there, young man. Can I help you with something? As a matter of fact, you can. I assume you know all about the murder last night. I'm afraid to say I do. Such a terrible loss. One can barely comprehend it. Well, one is gonna have to try. You're the mechanic, right? Peter Nubbet. At your service. I believe you've met my niece Mandy. Your niece? Oh, yes, I have. Glad to hear it. I hope she was polite to you, haha. So this is Mandy's uncle, a mechanic. I wonder what I can learn from him. Last night. So, if you don't mind me asking, where were you last night? Well, let's think about that. For most of the evening, I was fixing the back of the funhouse, as always. But I remember leaving relatively early, thinking upon it now. I'm quite glad that I did. Did you see or hear anything suspicious last night? Anything at all? Well, I did catch a glimpse of young Ricky and Charles arguing. Right over there by the Hall of Mirrors. The entertainer and the clown? Ricky and Charles were arguing outside the Hall of Mirrors last night. What about? I'm not normally one to eavesdrop, but I think it was something to do with being popular with the children. And something about a red nose. I can't remember much else. Maybe you should ask them. I should definitely go back and ask Ricky and Charles about that. It might be important. Big wheel. There aren't many clues back there. No, but it is kind of interesting to know if there's anything else. Okay, fair enough. Have you worked here long? Oh yes, a very long time. I've seen many staff members come and go, but Gary normally knows how to run things. Gary, Who's that? Gary Coyle's our boss. You'll probably find him in his office. Yes. He's usually capable of making the right decisions. But not always? Is anyone? Nope. Does he want me to answer? Oh good. He looked away. I'm no good at rhetorical questions. Staff relations? How well do you get on with the rest of the staff? As well as could be expected, apart from I've been known to argue with Charles on a couple of occasions. But most of the people here are guilty of that. He's so difficult sometimes. Sounds like Pete doesn't have much love for Charles the clown. Clowns don't get enough love, people. They may look scary, but all they want is a hug. Hug your local clown. Make them feel better. So you like the way things are running around here? Most of the time, yes, I think I could say that. I'm not the only one to think that. The fun house has seen better days. Hugh never really enjoyed his job, I don't think. Hugh let the fun house fall into a state of disarray. Yes, I'm afraid so. My niece Mandy often complains of it to me. I tell her not to cause trouble, but I know she could do a better job any day. So Pete knows of his niece's desire to run the funhouse. And was that it? Yeah, that was it. I'm trying to see what this says here. It's writing, but I can't really read it. There's nothing in the dark. Okay. Moving on. Hello. Are you Jerry Spears? The police tell me you were 2-1 to discover the murder last night. You got it. That was pretty scary stuff, I tell you. I can imagine. You're the cleaner here at the fairground, am I correct? I prefer the term refuge engineer, actually. Oh, sure. I'm sorry. You look quite young to be working here. Too young to be working at a fun fair? Most of the guys here are too old. That's what I say. Yeah, I am the youngest person here. But being young has its perks, you know? Cleaner or not, I have a feeling this guy is gonna have some important information on him. I mean, is he kind of like one of those guys that, you know, he deals with stress by laughing and making jokes? That would be my brother, pretty much. This guy kind of looks like my brother, actually. Obviously, I'll need you to recount the events of last night. You're an important witness. Story man. I've been going over this in my head since last night. I haven't forgotten a single detail. I'll bet. I stayed pretty late. I was cleaning up around here all evening. Eventually, I went around the whole fairground to give it a final clean. That's when I went into the Hall of Mirrors and found Hugh. You weren't the last person here, though, right? That's right. Mandy was still here working away, so I ran to find her. We called the police, and as soon as they'd arrive, after we gave our statements, we were allowed to leave. And that's it. Yeah. Why, did I forget something? I don't know. Did you? So you normally stay around the food court? Naturally. This is the area that needs the most cleaning. Did you notice anything else yesterday? It seems like you'd have a pretty good view from here. A good view? You bet. I did notice a couple of things. I got here really early. See, before the boss. I saw Pete coming from the direction of the office in the morning. He put something in that bin there. And then went into the toilet cubicle. Is that right? I bet he probably scribbled some stupid message on the wall in there. People are always using it as a message board. Honestly, it's just extra work for me, you know? Sounds like I need to check out that bin. And the toilet cubicle. It's not exactly something you always hear come out of people's mouth. The fun fair is so run down. How has it not been shut down by health inspectors? I get that a lot. Why have they even employed a cleaner, you're thinking? Apparently, the abandoned look is very popular with kids these days. We create everything to look old and rusted and dirty, but in fact, it's all incredibly clean. The table behind you is only a couple of days old. Hold on. How do you tell when things really do get dirty? Well, you see, I guess I have no idea. It makes my job easier, don't you think? More time to take in the sights. Sights. What kind of sights, Jerry? What do you mean by the sights? Oh, well, trees and birds and whatnot, stuff like that, right? I haven't noticed a single tree or bird since I've been here. I think Jerry's hiding something. I love this part. Get the truth. Okay, so small little minigame. When a character's hiding something, you must perform an eye contact interrogation to get the truth out of them. You control Grimoire's eye movements with your mouse. Hold your cursor to the left of his face to look away from the suspect. As soon as they begin lying, you should be able to tell there will be a white flash. Move your cursor to the right to look them in the eye. If you get it right, they'll break down and tell you the truth. Now move your cursor over the back button and click to start the eye contact interrogation. What is it that you love to stare at? And just sort of go into my little world. I think I got it. Like Mandy Farrer? What? Why her? What's so special about... Okay. Can't. Give in. Can't help myself. She's so perfect. Can you blame me? Yes. Yes, I can. You stay in the food court so you can stare at Mandy all day. Don't you think that's a little creepy? I'll bet I'm the least creepy person you've spoken to here at the fairground. Don't judge me so harshly. Don't worry, kid, I won't say anything. Still, maybe you should get a hobby or something. Don't worry, kid. I feel so old. Anyway, Jerry, creepy as he is, wasn't lying about that. Guess he's only young. I wonder what Mandy thinks of him. Now I'm just becoming a love match maker. Yay. Okay, bin, so move things out of the way. Oh, look. Found a pair of blue wire cutters in the bin. Sign. They appear to have some sort of chili dish on special. There's a drawing depicting Hugh getting hit by lightning. Has been drawn in green pen. There is an argument written on the wall about clowns. It seems to have been written by two different people. Back. Hello. How did you get in here? This is a staff-only area. I just sort of knocked, and you opened the door for me. Do you not remember? Yes, I remember now. You're the local inspector come to sort out this mess, right? I prefer detective, actually, and yes, that's right. My mistake. I was led to believe detectives wore hats, that's all. I don't like this guy already. I'm I'm Gary Coils. I run this fairground. Probably not for much longer with the way things are going. A murder in my own grounds. I can imagine it must be difficult times, but that's where I come in, you see. I'm wondering how helpful this guy is really gonna be. Still, it's my job to try. Alright, there's a lot of stuff to... Calendar. Calendar on the wall says get home early on last night's entry. Maybe I should ask Mr. Coils about that. There was no green pen in the set of pens. The pot looks like it has been knocked over. Anything? Oh, what? The wire providing power to the water cooler has been cut. There is a wardrobe here, which holds the costumes for use in the fairground. Okay, go back to Gary. Last night. Would you mind explaining to me what you were doing last evening? Yesterday? Why? Oh, yes, the murder. I had quite forgotten. I remember myself being annoyed yesterday, quite dehydrated, yes. I remember coming in shortly before lunch and putting the various costumes into the wardrobe like usual. So Coils brings in the costumes himself and he arrives shortly before lunch. Anyway, it was quite hot out, you see. My office gets awfully stuffy in the sun, and I couldn't find any way to cool down. That's, well, all important, I suppose. When did you leave in the evening? I always stay later than everyone else, and go over the fairground for a final check before I leave. Well, I normally do. I think I did last night. I don't see why I wouldn't. There was nothing special going on. Sounds like Coils is unsure about when he left last night. Maybe there's a clue in here somewhere that can help me out. Or help me get the truth out of him. Maybe his calendar? Have you seen the manager of the fairground, or have you been the manager of the fairground long? As long as I can remember, to be honest. So, about 5 minutes then. I take great pride in ensuring a safe environment for all my staff and my public. Some of the staff had been urging me to get rid of Hugh for a while. Did you know he was nearly completely deaf? I didn't actually. Who was trying to get rid of Hugh then? Well, neither Charles nor Pete particularly loved him. He caused more problems than he solved, that's for sure. Doesn't sound like Hugh was very popular around here, but who was it that finally decided to get rid of him? Office. I noticed your office was a bit of a mess. Doesn't particularly surprise me, but there's no harm in asking, right? Yes, well, I can assure you I keep this office perfectly tidy under normal circumstances. I haven't really had the time to clear up recently. So the mess is your fault. Well, who else would it be? There's one odd thing. My favorite green pen has gone missing from the pot of the desk. It probably got lost in the mess somewhere, but I noticed it disappeared from my room quite suddenly yesterday. After I came back from lunch, I think. So, was someone in here during the time Coils went to lunch? You told me you couldn't find a way to cool down yesterday. What about the water cooler over there? You're quite right, of course. The water cooler you refer was in fact broken when I came into work yesterday. Not knowing much about these things myself, I called in Pete, our mechanic, to fix it. I think that was around lunchtime. I left him to get on with it as I went to lunch. You left him in here alone. Did he fix it? Come to think of it, he didn't. I really should press him on that. I didn't see him again that day, actually. Pete was in here alone while Coils went to lunch. Alright, so we got some more things that we can question Pete with. And I don't have anything else to press him with. Nothing to press him with. Pete? Nothing there. Okay, here we go. Can you tell me anything else about the fairground? I can't think of anything. We're all one big happy family. Yup, that's right. Is that so? Yeah, well, a few people thought Hugh was a waste of space, but he kind of was like the fun house is a tip. It's not really safe. I remember Farrah always said she could do a better job of running it. Okay. So you're sure you get on with everyone here at the fairground? Yeah, I just kind of keep to myself usually. I'm not thoroughly convinced. Pete told me he saw you and Charles arguing outside of the Hall of Mirrors last night. Can you explain yourself? I don't see what I don't really argue much. Ricky's holding back. Should I press him? Yeah, you should. Okay. You're lying. I'm certain you don't get on with Charles at all. Hey man, no need to shout like I said. Tell me the truth then. Right, well, I don't get on with Charles. We do argue, it's always the same. The kids make fun of him and so on. He gets annoyed, tries to take it out on me. Nothing ever comes of it. Nothing. Well, I suppose that clears that up. I'm beginning to think that this argument was a red herring. For like a moment, this guy right here just looked like some kind of like creeper, like just peeking out from like the side of like the Hall of Mirrors. And I'm like, excuse me? Someone is trying to distract me. Pete? Okay, so there's nothing more with that. Back here. Mandy, your uncle. I spoke to your uncle. Peter Nubbit. You could have told me that the mechanic was your uncle. Did I not mention that? I don't really think anything of it, I guess. Uncle Pete's a good guy. He works hard. Sometimes a little too hard, I think. Oh. And then that's it. Charles? Pete Nubbit told me that he saw you and Ricky arguing outside of the Hall of Mirrors last night. This sounds like a serious matter. Would you mind telling me what it's all about? Ricky and I are always arguing. It's no big deal, really. He's just the argumentative type. You're better off grilling him about this. Maybe I should ask Ricky about this. But we just did. Small opening. Alright. It was a tight squeeze, but I got through. I hope there's something worthwhile in here. Me too. It's possible to see the Hall of Mirrors window through the window here. I can see that the light is on. Oh. Whoa. This has to be the murder weapon. And what's this? A brightly colored rag, tied around the glass shard. 2 clues at once. Oh, I actually have to move this. Victim's to-do list. It's been added to with a green pen. Alright, looks like we're getting somewhere. See, do I get any more new dialogue? Alright. So let's see, can I actually... Okay, so I'm thinking this is the point where I can actually start using clues. That's... It's a piece of cloth ripped from your clown costume, that's what. Why do you have it? It was found wrapped around the murder weapon, I'm afraid. Looks like your luck has just ran out. Wait, I can explain. I get my costume from the wardrobe in the boss's office. He brings in the costumes when he comes into work and places them in the wardrobe. I arrived at the fairground just after lunch. I went in to get my costume and found that it had a hole in it. Besides, look at this rag. It's really not like me to damage my own clothes. It's covered in some black stuff. Suppose it would be pretty stupid to wrap the murder weapon in your own clothes. Why don't you go and talk to the boss, Mr. Coils? He's normally in his office just over in the corner of the fairground. Alright, time to press everyone just along the way. Do I have any clues for you? Oh yeah, and then... Got your stuff. Asked about the books. The green writing isn't Hugh's writing. It looks familiar though. I wonder why Mandy has seen that other handwriting before. I think I know. I also need to go back. Nope, leave clues. Red nose. I don't know what that is, I'm afraid. I'm not so sure about that. This red nose was found outside the crime scene. There's only one guy around here with a red nose, and it's not Rudolph, if you catch my drift. Okay, so it's a red nose. But I have no idea how it got there, honestly. I'm almost certain Charles is holding something back, but what? Get the truth. Alright, I'll tell you why it was lying on the ground, if you really must know. Success. It didn't fall off my face. In fact, it was pulled off yesterday by some of the kids that came to the fairground. They were making fun of me, and I was just trying to keep my cool. Are you happy now? That's not the sort of thing you'd happily make up. I think I can believe Charles on this one. Alright, Charles, you're off the hook this time. Is there anything else I can ask him about? That's the murder weapon? It looks pretty sharp. Could you even hold that without hurting yourself? Yeah, good question. Any clues from Mandy? Maybe ask about this? Charles and Ricky are always arguing. They're both pretty nice guys, really. Nothing ever comes of it. I guess they really do argue all the time. I suppose it's not important after all. I haven't got a clue. That's kind of funny. Oh, it's kind of funny what I say, don't you think? Am I allowed to say no? You're absolutely allowed to say no. Don't even crack a smile, that's wrong. Okay, let's just go... let's see, anything? No. I don't think I've ever seen those before. They're a little dirty. Where on earth did you find them? in the bin actually by the food court. Well, I suppose that explains why they're dirty. It doesn't take a genius to see that Pete is avoiding the obvious here. Get the truth. They are exactly the same as all the tools on your belt. There's even one space empty. Oh yeah, he's kinda right. Oh, well, I suppose you're right. They must have fallen off my belt when I was having lunch, and someone found them and put them in the bin. I'm not convinced at all. Still seems like that's all he's going to say on the subject. Okay. Okay, there we go. This was the thing I was missing. There are some black marks on the ground. Looks like someone tried to wipe something away. There's a large blood stain on the floor. Understandably, really. There are some shards of glass on the floor. They don't seem to be very many. The mirror has been broken down one side. The door inside the hall is not visible in the now shattered reflection. Clues? Okay. Actually, let's go back to Mandy. They're just for when I get bored, you know? It can get pretty quiet around here. There are an awful lot of them. Are you sure they're just for light reading? I mean, why else would I need them? I'm not sure about this, but I can't help thinking those books have something to do with what Mandy was doing last night. Get the truth. We're gonna interrogate everybody. Okay, Yuen, I'll tell you what I'm up to, since you seem so eager to know. I'm studying for my exams, and these are all my revision books. I need to bring them to the fairground because it's the only chance I can get to go over them. Is that why you stayed late last night? That's right. I stay late most nights and use the time alone to get some work done. My exams are in 2 weeks and I'm totally unprepared. That makes sense. Why did you keep it from me though? I'm not sure. I suppose I was worried you'd think I was weird bringing my revision books to work like this. Don't worry, I don't think you're weird. Now I'm the one who has been caught lying. Either way, I'm pretty sure this clears up Mandy's alibi. I think I can believe her about this. Granted, it is kind of funny because I'm like, I wouldn't make fun of you for that, but like, why would you hide that? It's fine. Is that gonna help me out? It doesn't look promising. Got all the clues now. Profiles. Innocent, innocent, innocent. Suspect. Innocent, innocent. So we're down to one guy left who hasn't been deemed innocent. Alright. Hey, it looks like you've got your suspect. Are you ready to give your final conclusion? Yeah, let's do it. Who was the murderer? That's you, Grimoire. You're not admitting to murder, are you? Don't even think about it. That can't be right. Did I miss something? I mean, it's funny because they kind of give it away upon who it is in like that little like game over screen a little bit. So, all right. What was the murder weapon? This was. The first thing Pete did was to cut the wire for Coyle's water cooler. He left his wire cutters in the bin outside. His first mistake. But why did Pete cut the wire from the water cooler? Because he hates his boss, Gary Coyles. He needed to test out his new wire cutters, so he would be called in to fix it. He only likes warm water to drink. So I believe it's so that he can come in and fix it. Got it. Coyles then arrives, bringing with him the costumes for the day. He notices that the water cooler is broken and calls in Pete to fix it during lunch. Pete goes in the office, takes the green pen from the desk, and rips a section off Charles' costume. He eventually uses the pen to draw a picture. Pete drew a picture with the stolen green marker. Where? It was in the toilet cubicle. By this time, Charles has arrived. He goes into the office and takes his ripped clown costume from the cupboard. Later, Pete visits the Hall of Mirrors to smash the mirror. He takes the largest shard that falls and wraps it up in Charles' rag. Why did he wrap the rag shard in the torn rag? Why did he wrap the glass shard in the torn rag? So he wouldn't lose it, so he wouldn't hurt his hands, to frame Charles Ringer, to frame Ricky War. To blame Charles for it. Before leaving, he leaves on the main light. He then hides the empty game stall. He then hides in the empty game stall where he accidentally leaves behind his green marker. Hugh sees the Hall of Mirrors light through the window in his office. As he goes in to turn the light off, the door lets out a loud squeak. So how did the oil end up outside the Hall of Mirrors? It had been there since that morning because Pete oiled the door before going in. It had dripped from the roof because Hugh had oil on his shoes. He oiled it, as I said. Pete follows, but as not to attract any unwanted attention, he hastily oils the door to silence it before entering, causing a slippage by the door, or a spillage. Hugh has been distracted by the broken mirror, but cannot see behind him, for the mirror is cracked down the side that would normally reflect the door. Where did the black smears on the hall floor come from? They're dried blood from Hugh's wound. They've always been there. Pete left it there on purpose as a clue. Pete wiped up more oil to create the smears. Wiped it up. Pete stabs Hugh in the back with the glass shard. On his way out, he notices he has spilt more oil on the floor. He hastily wipes it up with Charles's rag. Before making his exit, Pete hides the murder weapon along with the oily rag behind a frame in Hugh's very own office. Alright, Grimoire. What was Pete's motive for murder? He wanted to frame Charles Ringer. He hated having to fix the funhouse. He wanted Mandy to run the funhouse. All of the above. I think it was all of them. Alright, so we figured out it was Pete the whole time. I love these little sprites, they're so cute. Go, Officer James. Ricky's got the best sprite though. Just absolutely just, you know, fantastic. Yep. So that was Detective Grimoire. Obviously this video went on a little long, but obviously the game's not very long to begin with anyways. Obviously we completed it in maybe like an hour. And so next time we meet, especially with Detective Grimoire, I'll be playing Detective Grimoire on Steam. And hopefully I'll be doing a little less reading, because I believe most of it is voice acted. So you guys can be spared the joys of hearing my lovely voice in my eccentric accents. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.